Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining our last January session today. I am honored to introduce Professor Dr. Saima Batool. She's the chair, Department of Pediatrics at University College of Medicine and Dentistry, the University of Lahore in Pakistan. She has come today with a really unique topic. I have never heard of this before, so I'm looking forward to um, getting more information. Thank you, Saima. To you.
Thank you, Sakina. Thank you to SIVU, especially Professor Shabizadi, and you as a CEO of uh, SIVU. Is my screen? Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, we can
Anyone?
see. We can see
Okay.
your screen. Mhm.
So I will start with the name of Allah, a brief, the shortest. I have chosen the shortest surah of Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. Now I will proceed with my topic. I have chosen this topic because I thought it to be a relatively new phenomena or a new concept for the medical education, especially not that new in the Western world, but maybe it's quite new and novice type of a topic for the you can say South Asia and other parts of the world. And the concept of One Health, although it started in almost 1800s, but what made it more we can say that people were more guided towards it by the COVID-19. So it started like this pandemic started with, it was thought to be transmitted by the bats to the human beings who were going into the jungles or into the woods, and the bats carry the COVID-19 virus, and it led to so many disasters and so many deaths throughout the world. So it was basically a pandemic, a bat, and a lesson in interconnectedness. So as we go back to the history of this topic, it started. I have divided it into two parts, on the left hand side and on the right hand side of your screen. As we can see that in early hundreds to 400 BC, Arabs and Greeks and Aristotle, Hippocrates, they first gave this concept of integrated medicine. Then came the Zhou dynasty, who introduced the concept of public health, and uh, followed by in Babylon king, who first found out that, and it was shown in the statues, that a dog statue was there, healer and protector from rabies. He was thought to be the one who gave this idea. And then followed by 1900 BC's Egyptians, they found out that there were certain illnesses or diseases which were vector borne, and they were transmitted from animals to human beings. So afterwards, as the time passed, then came the era of 1400 to 1600 of Leonardo da Vinci, followed by 1700s and 1800s. In 1800s, the first concept of zoonosis was given by a scientist named Rudolf Virchow. Is also said to be the father of comparative medicine. And then came Sir William Osler, who also gave this concept of one medicine. Initially, this was given the name of one medicine, that human beings, animals, and the environment, they work in a unison. And at the same time, during 1800s, Louis Pasteur has had the famous invention of penicillin as the first antibiotic. Then in 1976, the one medicine concept, or the zoonosis, was taken forward, and it is thought that Kelvin Schwabe is the person who gave this heading, or you can say the name of One Health, for the first time. Again, as we go forward, after the Kelvin Schwabe in 1965, in 2004, the Wildlife Conservation Society conference, it released what are called the a famous 12 Manhattan Principles, leading to the concept of one world and one health. And later on, World Health Organization and Federation of for the Food and Agriculture and Animal Society, Animal Rights Society, they further took it forward, and they gave a framework for reducing risks of infectious diseases at the animal human ecosystems. And CDC, first of all, established One Health Office between 2009 and 10, and then came as we move forward, various congresses, various web seminars, and even whole themed conferences on One Health were carried out. And the latest one was in Malaysia. I think it was in 2023, as I have attended it online as well. So this is you can say, right from the beginning of human history, this is the history of concept of one medicine, which is now being given the name of One Health after Schwabe. What led to this, or what things they gave this meaning to, why the human beings and the animals, they are interconnected, and why they should be given importance? It was in 1977, a scientist named Engel, he gave the One Health concept, and he said that the human illnesses, they start from the molecular level to the cellular level, then came the organ level, person level, family, community, and global society. So he said that not only the infections, they are affecting a person's cell or a organ, but also the mental health as well as the physical health, they are interconnected. So this social model was later on given the name of One Health, and it comprises many other components. Not only that, it involved microbiology, it involved veterinary sciences, medical sciences, biodiversity, and food and security and food safety. So these components, they were gradually incorporated into the to this concept of One Health. When I looked for the definition of One Health, I came across various definitions on internet, and one of those was given by WHO. It said that One Health is basically a collaborative effort of multiple disciplines working locally, nationally, globally, to attain an optimal health for people, animals, and the environment. So it basically means a we can say it's a transdisciplinary approach. Another definition given to this is it involves a collaborative, multi-sectoral, transdisciplinary approach that works at the local, regional, national, and global levels. So, One Health is about breaking the silos and working together across sectors to create a healthier world. Because we as medical educationists, we are basically responsible for the teaching of new people who are going to take our place as clinicians, as medical teachers, as well as other parts as maybe management at the level of management or public health. So it's our duty to start incorporating this concept right from today, because as we come across these problems, we are tackling it separately. The some of the as human beings, they are only dealt by the medical physicians because they are responsible and they are trained in that. Animals are treated in veterinary sciences, and the vets, they are treating it separately. Although when I searched for the concept of One Health, I found out that the veterinary sciences, they have adopted this One Health concept into their curricula much earlier as compared to us, as compared to the medical field. So initially, this concept involved the three components: environmental, animal, and human health. But later on, it has become now has become an umbrella term which encompasses so many things, as I have already told: public health, environmental chemistry, veterinary medicine, human medicine, molecular and microbiology, ecology, and health economics. So all these things, they are interconnected. So moving on, if we look that what are the common One Health issues, there are not only the infections or the diseases, there are many other things which are interrelated, and they are being included under the heading or under the umbrella term of One Health. One of these, we all know, is zoonotic diseases, that the diseases which are spread between animals and humans, like rabies, like salmonella, which is almost the salmonella infection is enteric fever is almost it is still endemic, not only in Pakistan but also in our neighboring countries like India, in Nepal, in Bangladesh. Still, it's an endemic disease, so we are not able to control it because we don't know about this concept that the human and animal health is interconnected. And second component of this or health issue, One Health issue, is the antibiotic or antimicrobial resistance, which has become, I must say, a very, very significant topic or problem for whole of the world, because antimicrobial resistance has cost almost millions or even billions of lives, not only human but also animals. And animals, as they are part and parcel of this environment, this ecosystem, we need animals for various purposes, not only for provision of food but also for carriage, for many other things. And in pets, as we know, pets are a very important component of our society, especially in the Western world, because people, they have pets, these pet animals as their family members. They look after those as their and take them as their family members. Then another health issue is related to food safety and security, because as the world population is increasing day by day, and it has been thought that it may multiply almost 100 times or 90 times, at least 90 times by the year 2050. So as there would be more people, so more food would be required, and also to keep that food in the food chain going on and on is important. Then vector-borne diseases are another health issue, environmental health, because infection or antimicrobial resistance does not only involve, or these organisms does not only involve the human being, but also the soil and water is also affected. So it is affecting our environment's health as well. Many chronic diseases, like the commonest which we come across in our part of the world, is tuberculosis, which is a quite either it's transmitted through the from animals to human beings, from mostly from the cows and from buffaloes, by using the unpasteurized or unboiled milk. It's very common, and it's not being 100% controlled. Rather, it has started to become multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, and eventually mental health and occupational health of the human beings as well. So now comes why there should be one health in the medical education. So there are very various challenges which we face currently in our era. Like, I found that on the WHO website that 75% of emerging infectious diseases, they are zoonotic. Out of 100%, 75% are transmitted from animals to human beings. Then climate change, as we read and we look in various documentaries, that our world is becoming hotter and hotter. And this has not only affected the human life, but also the animal life as well as the environment itself. And it's going on and on. It's not a process which is going to stop on its own if we don't do anything about it. Alarmingly increasing antimicrobial resistance. And when I looked into the statistics of COVID-19, I found that the economic cost of pandemics, especially COVID-19, the most recent pandemic which occurred, costed about 16 trillion. It's a huge amount. So a huge amount of money was, we should say, used or lost for on treatment of patients with COVID-19 as well as for vaccinations. Then 2.8 million antibiotic resistant infections they occur in US each year. This is from the CDC website. That's a huge number. Still, even if we know that in US and UK and Canada and other Western countries, there are very strict rules for using and strict um, the mechanisms, or there are protocols for using various antibiotics, but still it's quite high. And more than 35,000 people die as a result because of these resistant organisms, these resistant infections. So it's quite preventable. The status of AMR in Pakistan, that it showed that 167th out of 204 nations in AMR related mortality, Pakistan has quite a high status or rank per 100,000 population. And in 2019, the global research on antibiotic resistance found that almost 60,000, around 60,000 deaths they occur because of antibiotic resistance. And third leading cause of death after the cardiovascular diseases and maternal and neonatal disorders is infections, and mostly these infections, they are because of antimicrobial resistance. So we now know that it is a big problem. It is going to be faced. We are facing it currently, and our generations to come would be facing it even worse than us if we don't recognize that this is a problem and this is the way we can stop or prevent these problems, especially the zoonotic diseases and the antimicrobial resistance. One Health for food security, safety, and sustainable production. It's basically a paradigm, it requires a paradigm shift so that our generations don't face food scarcity or difficulty in giving food to all whole of the generations who are coming forward. So expected global population by 2050, as I told just before, few minutes before, it was almost 9.7 billion. So more food will be required. Plus, this will affect or it will strain the natural resources. It will affect more as more and more food has to be grown. So the soil becomes less enriched. It started causing started it start causing soil erosion and loss of biodiverse landscapes and pollution uh, with the meantime. And because of easy mobilization, now people they are easily moving from one country to the other. So although there are checks and balances in at various levels, but still transboundary diseases due to globalization, they are affecting food security and food safety as well, plus causing more spread of resistant organisms from one country to the other. And especially the refugee problem, the refugees coming from different areas like from Palestine, from Syria, Yemen, and these countries which are struck by the war, they may be responsible or they may be one of the cause of spreading the antimicrobial resistant organisms or diseases from one country to the other. So we require global policy efforts because it's not a, a single person's job. We require building a healthier future through integrated approaches. We have to stop or decrease the rate of zoonotic diseases, AMR, impact of environmental degradation, and cross-sector collaboration is needed. Who are the leaders in One Health? Currently, we know WHO is working throughout the world, and now there is more emphasis on preparedness for pandemics, not treating or not going after the pandemic has already occurred. There have been efforts going on, but they need to be strengthened and strengthened right from the foundation. And the foundation is our education system. There are schools in the world. I have found that there are certain schools, especially in the US and UK, they have introduced One Health concept in their seventh or eighth grade of school. So that is the effort we require throughout the globe, not only in certain countries, but throughout the globe. Then food safety and zoonotic risk reduction, and veterinary health and global disease monitoring. They are the leaders currently, global leaders in One Health policy making. And Lancet has developed or made Lancet One Health Commission in 2019, and it has a center at Oslo, Norway, which hosted the first conference or first um, uh, meeting of these commissioners. It comprises of 24 commissioners and several researchers from multiple disciplines from around the globe, and they published a series of articles which were published in the Lancet regarding how to look for or how to prevent various zoonotic diseases and how to incorporate different disciplines together in in a way so that they know that what are their roles and how they can work in a transdisciplinary manner, in an integrated manner. What is the uh, we can say the condition in Pakistan? In Pakistan, because I belong to Pakistan, so I'm interested to look what is the condition in Pakistan. Pakistan has developed Pakistan National Institute of Health (NIH) in Islamabad. It has become the hub or the central point, and it has been officially established since 2018, and it is working in various capacities. It is providing workshops and webinars and symposia throughout the country. Then various regarding the educational system, the research is very important. in that paradigm. So the Khyber Medical University has published a specific its edition regarding the concept and how to improve this One Health phenomena in Pakistan. There is an NGO which named as Pak One Health Alliance, who has conducted various workshops and capacity building seminars. Then U.S. National Academy of Sciences, in partnership with the Pakistan Academy of Sciences, has developed a fellowship program to build up the capacity. And this program involved early and mid-career scientists in One Health research. And they have published few articles as well, which are available on the net. I have given the references in my last slide about it. And in 2017, National Action Plan on Antimicrobial Resistance was given by the government of Pakistan. But later on, the problem is we start something with a good intention, but what is the most important is lack of sustainability of those programs. It is difficult to keep these programs going on because of various reasons. Like there are barriers. Like the most important one is the lack of expertise and lack of resources, which result in halt, or the program becomes suspended midway. That problem is quite common in many other sectors in Pakistan as well. So at present, now coming to the medical education, in various I've found that the medical schools throughout the world, this is not the only for Pakistan. This is data when I looked for how many medical schools they are incorporating, or already they have incorporated One Health education into their undergraduate curriculum, into their postgraduate curriculum, or into continuous medical education. I found out very few of those even in the globe. But many of them, most of them, I found that they were from the vet schools, not from the medical schools. So they are veterinary schools. They have found out the importance and its need much earlier as compared to the medical schools. There are few examples like University of California. They have a global One Health training program. And in Netherlands, Utrecht University also has One Health postgraduate degree. They are offering masters in One Health education and One Health concept. In East Asia, Bangladesh has also dedicated substantial efforts to formulate a strategic framework and action plan for implementing the One Health approach. So these are the few of the examples. I have found few others as well, but these are the ones who are working with full vigor for quite almost more than a decade or so. And they are offering these programs in their medical education, both few of them at the undergraduate level and most of them at the postgraduate level. Then in Pakistan, Aga Khan University has integrated public health modules with One Health principles, but that is also not given a specific time frame or a part in the undergraduate medical curriculum. That flaw I have found. Maybe if any of the participant is in this webinar is from Aga Khan, they can better tell us that whether this has been changed or not recently, but they have a public health module with One Health principles, and a few medical schools in Islamabad. Mostly they are private medical schools, not public, and they have started collaboration with the vet schools, and both the people from the veterinary medicine and the medical people, medical teachers, they have been teaching in in their undergraduate curriculum by making a team, or you can say a group of uh, educators. They are working together. This is an example because I want to make sure that to make it as easy and as relatable as possible. This is an example from Georgetown University School. So they are giving another one from the John A. Burns School of Medicine, JAPSOM, who has given us a certificate course on One Health, and it goes on throughout the 4 years. So a longitudinal sort of a program. In the first year, there's the Introduction to One Health course, followed by the second year, in which they are given some group activity like seminars or workshops, and they develop and present a One Health project proposal, research, or curriculum development, any of these. And in third year, the students, they are going to collect the data, and they will complete this project, which they have, the synopsis was given in the last year, in second year, and in final they get it published, and they complete and present their project, completed project, after the data has been collected, in collaboration with the other components, like with environmental sciences scientists, or the veterinary medicine scientists, microbiologists, molecular biology people, and health and agriculture health people. So in this way, they incorporate it in their course in the form of certificate course. So how we can incorporate medical education, One Health concept into our medical education? First concept, this is almost already being done, but it is done in a way that there is no integration between clinical sciences and basic sciences, even in Pakistan. Even in India, I have looked for the medical schools who are teaching One Health in collaboration, but I haven't been able to find it. So separately, the zoonotic diseases are being taught by, for example, we have our community medicine department. So community medicine department is there, and they are teaching zoonotic diseases, but no linkage or integration by the clinical people has been offered in up till now, especially in our part of the world. Then educators can demonstrate how One Health approaches can lead to better detection and treatment of diseases, and many of these, they appear, or they are one of the component of the board exams, USMLE or PLAB or any other licensing exams. And as the time is changing, so various other things, various other fields, they have been used, or they have been integrated into the medical education, and one of these is media and arts. So we can use various movies or various simulation based practices, so that they are easily adaptable and easily taken by the students, because the current students which we are teaching in medical schools, they mostly belong to Gen Z, and we know that characteristics of Gen Z are that they love to, or they are the people who want to be involved, so that if they are interactive, they are involved, hands on, or they love to use the, or love to get it when it is gamified, or in the form of a game, because they are playing video games right from their, we can say, right from their cradle onwards, because we have seen mothers giving their small kids in infancy, even in the infants, they have mobile in their hands, and they are watching it right from the few months of life. So another thing that medical teachers, they should, especially the clinical teachers, should incorporate. As I am a pediatrician, many times when we were in our early part of our career, or I was in residency, we forgot to take history of any animal contact or any pets at home, or if a person is coming from a area where there are livestock are there, so and they are working there, so we forgot to take that history as well. So it is time that more emphasis should be paid, should be repeated, because repetition is necessary to make our students learn different skills, and history taking and clinical examination is the most important skill which is required for evidence-based medicine, or to be a good clinician at any era. So we should do this as a teachers. Then we can in the future, I will think that there would be clinical electives for the students who want to work with the animals, or in the field as the environmental scientist. So clinical electives are one of the way in which we can teach our students or involve our students. And use of social media and entertainment industry is very important. We can use these clips from the different, like from this drama. Very many of you must have seen it, The House. So it has various episodes in which the diseases were basically transmitted from animals or from birds to the human being. And Mr. House, the Dr. House, he solved those mystery cases. So in undergraduate, One Health modules, existing public in to the existing public health and microbiology courses. You can use case studies, or we have already been using, but we have to increase its frequency, so that we can teach our undergraduates in a better way. Use of simulation to teach about zoonotic diseases and antimicrobial resistance, because simulation is quite close to the reality. And if we make a simulation exercise in a very methodical way, with the pre-briefing scenario and post-briefing or debriefing in a very uh, elaborate manner, it could be an excellent way to teach various things or various problems which actually the students may not see, because they may not come to, for example, at the private medical school, there may not be too many patients. So if they can't see the patients, we can use the simulation or the simulated patients for that purpose. We will give the history after being trained by the medical educationists. And like this is one of the example, a cholera outbreak can be a theme on which a simulation exercise can be made. For postgraduates, we have to offer MPH, Masters of Public Health, or MSc in One Health as a specialization, interdisciplinary modules, and develop collaborative modules with the veterinary and environmental sciences, like a joint module on antimicrobial resistance can be made between keeping all these three major components or major areas which are included in the One Health concept. Use of this is the repetition, sorry for that. Then electives or courses about One Health. Then research opportunities involving all the people, not only from the med school, but also from the veterinary medicine, from environmental sciences. So these researchers can work together, and they can do the research related to any One Health concept. And another thing which we can introduce, especially in a university where there are veterinary school, environmental sciences department, and medical school under one roof, it would be much easier there, because people would be nearby, so you can introduce interprofessional ward rounds. And as the concept as an and I found that the concept started also, this One Health concept also was strengthened, not started but strengthened by the anatomy lectures. The anatomy lecture, there was a comparative anatomy lecture in which human anatomy was compared with that of an animal like a dog or like any other animal relatively larger in size. Then in third component of medical education is always the continuous medical education. So that is the part and parcel of medical education, and One Health webinars, workshops for the as a part of faculty development programs, and not to forget about marine health, because they are also one of the component of our ecosystem, the fish and other marine animals. That has to be important component or integral part of the One Health concept. Then I came up, it wasn't conference, so not in 2024, it was in 2023. The theme of the conference by International Medical University from Malaysia was One Health. And I attended it online, and there were many marvelous lectures and marvelous presentations there. So, a sustainable healthcare education system is required, or a center for sustainable healthcare education, and that will be providing that is basically based on interdependence of ecosystems. So this concept can be used, or a sustainable healthcare education system can be incorporated into various levels of medical education. But if there is policy making about One Health, if there is willingness of the medical educators, willingness of the students, and of the community at large. But when we are looking for, or we give certain concepts or certain ways in which these can be incorporated, there would be some barriers as well. Like lack of trained faculty is a barrier. Then we can use for that purpose online resources. I have found many online resources. Some of them are free, some of them given by WHO. These are self-paced, mostly asynchronous courses available on One Health that can be done, that can be referred to, or that can be prescribed to the faculty to use or to go through, so that they can get the concept and they can apply it in their teaching. Then like global frameworks for One Health competencies is one of these. Then resistance to curriculum overhaul, that is a very big barrier. People won't like it because any change is very difficult to accept. People want, it's a human psyche that um, we want not to change. So that is another barrier, and that has to be looked forward, that has to be done by the licensing or these professional bodies like Pakistan Medical and Dental Council. If I say about Pakistan, has to come forward and include it in the medical curriculum. And the problem is that already the medical curricula, they are jam packed, they have a lot of components, and it is very difficult to add another. But if there is a will, there will be a way. So we can include the One Health concept wherever it can be, if we have a will to do so. These are the different resources, 5 or 6 I have found. And the future of One Health could be, where do we go from here? I have a prediction that One Health will become essential in future in medical licensing exams. So people would have to learn about it. Then AI coming into the landscape of medical education. We can use AI for outbreak prediction. People are working on that even. And the policy level changes at the level of WHO and World Federation for Medical Education. has to be there, will be there in the future, and that will result in involvement or inclusion of this. Plus, the One Health role in genomics and diagnostics will be coming forward, and also there would be apps development so that people living in the far-flung areas can um, utilize or can um, uh, get help whenever they are in need regarding the health of their self, their animals, or their land or soil. So this is a part of sustainable development goals as well. So now I'm going to finish my uh, presentation over here by saying that alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. So you are the change agents. Whether you are a student, educator, or a clinician, you have a role to play in advancing One Health. Encourage faculty to integrate One Health into teaching, inspire students to pursue research in One Health, and conduct awareness campaigns and continuous training for decision makers and educators. So we have to begin small, baby steps like pilot programs or small workshops, and then it will definitely be incorporated in the near future. But keep it in mind that there are ethical problems, ethical principles, or pitfalls, because human beings, they have been using animals and livestock for their research purpose or other things, other needs for a very long time. So this point has to be kept in mind. These are few of my references. Thank you so much. I have tried to be finish it in time. If there are any questions, any comments, you are more than welcome. And I request Prof. Shabis to give his comments, please.
Thank you, Saima. It was an excellent talk on a new topic. But isn't a new topic? That is my question. Because we've been studying animals for a long, long time. I remember some 60 years ago or 50 years ago when I was taught Plasmodium falciparum. That was one of the mosquitoes. I mean, we had to go through all these difficult names of animals as vectors in different conditions. I mean, I remember tuberculosis, which is still a common problem, extremely common. When I was a student, we were always taught that it comes from the animals, and experimentation was carried out in the dairy farms, the veterinary schools, etc. I, in fact, remember going with the hygiene department to a dairy farm way back in the 60s to see how the vaccination was carried out and how. So the concept is brilliant, and I think it's come up because of COVID-19, as you pointed out right in the first slide. That's probably started from the bats. But two important things emerge out of it. It's a fascinating subject, and we should all know it. The veterinaries, particularly in America, the veterinary departments and veterinary hospitals and medical schools or veterinary schools are very, very, very powerful. Some of the students from veterinary actually go on to be admitted into medical schools. So it's a different story altogether. But India and Pakistan or the Middle East countries, I suspect it's going to be very difficult to introduce a new subject, a new concept. And the reason I say is because we pointed out something very important, that to change a curriculum, people don't like it. I mean,
Yes.
I was thrown out of dramatical college way back when I started under the instructions of the WHO that we should change the education program from the continuous rote memorization that Mr. Flexner had given in 1910 to something which is coming up then as problem-based learning. And I was discarded. All my colleagues, in fact, I remember one particular academic council meeting where literally one of my cousin who was professor of anatomy got him and said, "Now you come to teach us how to teach anatomy. Get out." And I was thrown out. So we have suffered. So I suspect there'll be a lot of resistance. That's one thing, because already the curriculums, particularly in the Asian countries, overloaded. And I tell you, the comparison I do with the schools, the medical schools in the UK, here the curriculum is shrinking every day. And what is happening is that micro learning and mobile learning has become the integral part of teaching. Every young person you see in a medical school, the Imperial, for example, or St. George's or St. Thomas's, where I often visit, is everybody is on a computer, they read through. They don't read books anymore. They're just reading, they're watching YouTubes, and they have these new flash cards and flip cards and whatever, all these. So the two or three things that come up from your discussion. A, it's a fascinating idea, but it's not new. Now it's being organized because of the COVID-19. That is my perception. The second thing is that when you want to introduce as a separate subject in a curriculum which is already overloaded, what will you replace? Which subject will be replaced? And who's going to teach these subjects? Because it's not just one subject, talk about microbiology and veterinary and all the comes. To introduce ethics as a separate subject, it took me 25 years and I failed. I couldn't. I remember Professor Vaidi, a famous geneticist, who used to say in the 1960s, or not 60s, 70s, that genetics should be taught as a separate subject. He died, or probably migrated. I don't think he's dead. May he live forever, or 100 years or 200 years. But he was a professor at the University of Karachi. In all the meetings, said genetics should be a separate subject. Did it happen? It has taken 25, 30 years. So that is my concept and brief discussion. And I'd like people to participate in discussion. It's a fascinating subject, and it's going to increase because WHO will sponsor it. I guarantee WHO will take it up as a universal project and implement in African countries and Asian countries. I'm not too sure they can do it in the European countries. Open to debate and discussion. I thoroughly enjoyed your talks, as always.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Uh, any of the participants who want to add any comment or any personal experience regarding the topic? Because sir has very nicely summarized that almost 3 decades, 3.5 decades have passed when initially uh, people like Professor Shabi Zaidi, they started giving a concept or started to tell people that we have to do integration of basic sciences and clinical sciences. And now, after almost 30 years or so, now people have, we can say limited, there are limited areas or limited colleges who have started using or started incorporating this concept, and they are going towards integrated curriculum. So we are almost 50 years behind. My feeling is that we are 50 years in behind in almost any field, whether it is medical education or research or any other thing. But still, I think it's never too late. We can start at any time. We can go step by step, or we should um, encourage people or instigate people. Yes, I have one hand raised from Azai's iPhone. Yes, please kindly unmute yourself. There is a raised hand by
Okay.
can yeah.
Very nice lecture, Saima. Excellent slides, excellent all over research. This is again not a new concept. The concept of
Yes.
one health exists. In fact, what is man?
Yes.
He's actually an animal with intellect on 4 legs. And the disease spectrum is so much common that we have to actually, in this day and age of pets and people living together, take a very good history. My only contribution is it boils down to the same clinical knowledge, history, clinical examination, and knowing the environmental factors. You have very nicely summed up everything, where we are actually heading to. I remember in India, there are not many veterinary colleges where we are taught that way in which, UK and US are teaching. I don't know about Pakistan, but they are very common. The antibiotic resistance exists. Before a patient is given anything, he's given a drip of hostacycline, if I remember from my days of my SHO ship in Aligarh. So all that has changed. And as Professor Zaidi said, the curriculum for UK and Europe is shrinking. There are many additions like battered babies, battered wives, domestic violence, drug abuse. The actual core curriculum to give and impart the knowledge which will help the medical student in their lifetime is missing. They don't have anything. They don't see patients. They're not examined on patients. They are examined on dummies. They're examined on polystyrene models. All that is contributing towards decline in the health standards. And this is a very good concept. I would congratulate you for a very good lecture and giving us an insight into the problems we are going to face in the future. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your comments and your insights. Thank you so much.
So Saima, Dr. Ehsan Zaidi or Mr. Ehsan Zaidi is a very senior clinician in the UK. He's been a teacher for a long, long time from Aligarh and Lucknow, and he is he teaches at St. George's and St. Heliers in London. I have benefited many times with his wisdom. He's exactly right. And I think the point that perhaps as a concluding remark would be one comment, Professor, the WHO consultant, forget his name, he used to come to help us develop the centers at Dow and College of Physicians in Pakistan. Bashir Hamad, he was from Sudan, very famous professor. In fact, only recently I discovered during the courses that one of the students told me that one street in Sudan is named after him, such an important person. So he used to say a very simple thing when we work on integration of curriculum, etc., and PBL, that there should be core curriculum during the medical school and more curriculum throughout life. So there should be only basic information during these 5 years or 4 years or 6 years, depending on it, and more knowledge throughout life. And that is exactly what's happening currently. You cannot absorb knowledge because the knowledge, as rote memorization, is outdated. You don't have to remember it all on computer. And you're absolutely right to say that AI is replacing a lot of things. Everybody's using AI. So if AI is there as a tool which can be helpful in getting all your data and processing and everything, why should you overburden your mind with such things like data processing, etc.? Let the computer do it. Use your mind for creativity, which is the main purpose of mind and brain. With these words, I thank you so much for coming, Saima, on behalf of Sadiq Pochuri University and all our colleagues across the world. It has been an enlightening talk, and please come again. Over to you, Sakina.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you to all the audience.
Yeah, thank you, Saima. I really enjoyed it. I have no medical background, but I really enjoyed your lecture and all the details. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Inshallah, see you in 2 weeks.
Allah
Bye.
Hafiz. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.